Welcome everybody to Google Camp 2021. I just want to go ahead and introduce our two presenters, Pete and Judy Nguyen and Rebecca Gomez. Today we're going to be having the building community with Among Us. That is our presentation. Judy, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you now, okay?
Great, thank you. Hi, everybody. Okay, so if we are going to have a chance to do a run through of Among Us. So if you don't have the game already, I recommend downloading it. If you have a mobile phone handy, you could go to the App Store or Google Play Store. If you're really good at multitasking and you have Steam, you could download it, but that costs $5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's free on Google Play or the App Store. I think it's also on Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Yes, I think so too. But free, Google Play and the App Store. And then you're ready?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, we will introduce ourselves. I'm Judy.
We're doing a presentation.
Judy Nguyen. We're presenting from home, as you could tell. This is the agenda today. And Pete, want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Pete Nguyen.
You're muted, Pete.
But
Oh, thank you. No, I muted because I thought you were going to use it. You guys, we rehearsed this like 5 times, so we're really good at this. I've unmuted. Go ahead and say it again.
Okay, so I'm Pete Nguyen. I am the teacher and outreach specialist for the Independent Learning Center. And I'll talk about more about our program.
Yeah. Okay. So we want to discuss, how to use.
And then Rebecca is one of our students.
Yeah, Rebecca, is she on?
Yeah, she's on.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, and Rebecca, can you talk a little bit about yourself, please?
My name is Rebecca, and I'm a student of Mr. Nguyen.
Rebecca, I'm gonna talk about what kind of happened real quick because I want them to full transparency. So
Yes.
We actually have done this presentation before with 2 students while they were currently students, including Rebecca. And then so originally we had a current student doing this presentation, but a family emergency came up. So Rebecca has already graduated, but she was doing this during the pandemic. She has experience on it. So I legit just called her up maybe like 15 minutes from now. And so I was like, hey, Rebecca, can you help us out with the presentation that you helped us with before? She's like, oh yeah, that's cool. So that's why it's a little hectic right now. But thank you, Rebecca, switching that out while it's being recorded.
Yeah, you saved the day. So thank you so much. So yeah, this is our contact information. You could find Pete at PeteNguyen_edu on Twitter, and his email address is there as well. And Becca, thank you so much for joining us today. So a little bit, video games in general just kind of brings people together. Gaming in general brings people together. And so what's particular about video games is that common objective. And it just naturally brings people together because you have a common goal. And when you have the ability to communicate and share ideas, that creates a community. So through the pandemic, or being, we were isolated, and people talk a little bit more why this game was really helpful to build that community for students who didn't have that opportunity to meet together regularly. And so, so this is just a quote from Video Games Are Effective at Creating Communities Online. It's from a conference. And I want to ask you guys, have you played video games with your students, recently or in the past? If it wasn't Among Us, was there other games that you were able to play with your students? I would love to if you could share your experiences. If you want to type it in the chat or unmute. feel free to do so. We'll count Kahoot. Yeah, we'll count Kahoot and quizzes.
My kids love Kahoot. They're very competitive about it.
Especially when there's prizes, right? Oh, Scrabble. Yeah, Scrabble. Prodigy. Oh my gosh, Leticia, I had to pay for Prodigy for a little bit because the demand, and then I stopped it. And she's been asking. And I go, why do I have to pay for Prodigy? What do you get for the paid version? But she's been asking for that. Yeah. Roblox. Yes. Yeah. With a private, I was going to ask you, do you do it with a private server to avoid other people? That's awesome. Okay, great. Feel free to keep typing in the chat. Those are great examples. You want to take on this side?
No, I think this is Rebecca's, right?
Oh, we'll take Rebecca. Okay.
So Rebecca.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, I did that again. My bad. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Rebecca, can you share how the game works and the goals and things like that, please?
Yeah, with Among Us or whatever, it's a game where like up to 10 people can play. Usually there's 2 imposters, but you can pick like from 1 or 3, 2. And you have to work like as a team to figure out who the imposter is and try to kick the imposters out by doing tasks or seeing who's like acting like sus. And yeah.
And sus is slang for suspect, but all the kids say sus, so if they say you're sus, then it's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's caught on the vernacular. It just like I'll just hear people say that's us all the time now. I'm like, and I know what it means now. But yeah.
Oh, you can play up to 15 people now. That's
Yeah, they increased it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So we're the Independent Learning Center. We're a dropout prevention program. We are a social emotional program that uses group therapy to help students get back on track to graduate. So when students struggle, we drive to the students' houses, and some of the students who have dropped out, we drive to their houses and convince them to come back to school. Or drive to if they stop coming to school, we'll in our program we would drive to their houses and things like that. In using during the pandemic, we had used Big Blue Button and Schoology, but the students also had a chance to come by at times and stuff. So when we did Among Us together, we played by joining Big Blue Button, and we were all in their audio, so we would do our thing, which you'll get to see. Some of you probably have a little bit of experience with it, but we would have our voice discussion in Big Blue Button, or sometimes in Google Meets if it was down. But Rebecca, you want to share like how like that experience was for you, since you went through that? Just like how we were like all together, kind of like talking to each other and things like that.
Oh, it was like nice to see people like opening up about like certain things.
So even though you're playing a game of Among Us, like you were talking about other topics, it was like a way to kind of break the ice with you and other students.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you connect, it like all things that I'm sure many of you have faced when you were teaching during the pandemic, things don't go exactly the way you think it's going to go, and things go down, like break down and things like that. And so even while we were playing Among Us, we would have to contact the students. They couldn't connect and all that. So while during those times, we would talk to each other, just built community that way just by us connecting, like talking to each other, which for our program is super important in terms of our therapy strategies, is that we have to even very shy people, we would try to find opportunities at least for them to be around people who talk a lot and things like that. So That's kind of our goal. And so Among Us kind of fit that. And I believe, Rebecca,
Mhm.
Among Us was your idea, right?
Yeah.
So we actually started out with Minecraft to kind of do that. And then, I don't know, I think it just kept dying or something. Like it was really hard.
We were looking, think we were in the desert and then you got lost or whatever. And I said, why don't we just play Among Us?
Like, let's just play Among Us, it's easier and whatever. So we switched over Among Us and we found out that a whole bunch of our students loved playing it on their cell phone or whatever. And so that was better at community building, surprisingly for us, than Minecraft, because Rebecca was with us when school was still in session, and then the last 3 months, right, Rebecca, was out.
Yeah.
Right, and so Minecraft was super big, I think, during school, right? We were all playing.
Yeah.
You guys were playing, I think you guys were murdering each other or something, I don't remember. But but then like when we went like during the pandemic, when like everything shut down and we were like home, we thought that would be able to, like, the thing that would naturally pick up, but it didn't. Among Us was it. So
Wasn't the challenge was the devices, since
Yes,
Minecraft
yes.
required a Chromebook
That's right, I
or
forgot,
some kind of laptop, and not, even though the school was distributing devices, it wasn't at that time. Not everybody had equitable access, but everybody had a mobile phone, right? For the most
yeah,
part.
it was hard to like have them play on their phone, Minecraft. And
Because
stuff.
like you can only play it on like iOS or whatever. You can't play it on Android because it's education edition.
That's right. I forgot that too. See, I'm glad that you remembered. Yeah, because that was the problem we had. It was only iOS. So this was just more inviting. Everybody gets like you right now literally could just download it and play it right now. And so it was just an easier entry point.
So I just want to share an example of another teacher that I know, Molly Sides, that she's in LAUSD. So she was sharing on Facebook, like we're friends, and she was sharing on Facebook how she was using this consistently throughout when she was teaching from home. It was something that they did during their breaks. So it's, in lieu of recess or their nutrition, they would play. And so over time, she had to develop different rules or different strategies to kind of keep it fresh. And so her rules was private play only. And no, she said, her words, no rando. So we only play with the people that we know. We're not going to open it up. And people kind of explain that, how you can play with strangers. At the time, 10 fit in a room. So now it's 15. So if she had a room that was maxed out, she would just have another student create a new room. And over time, people would figure out like, oh, bodyguarding or alliances, it's just not fair. Because it's like, right. Can you explain, Rebecca, a little bit better, like the scheme of bodyguarding? And
It makes it harder to like, because usually there's like 2 imposters, right? So like if people are like grouping up with like someone else, or it's harder for the imposter to either win, and it's harder for us to like find out who the imposter is, because it's like everyone is like with someone, with a partner, so it's like not really fun.
it kind of defeats the whole game, right?
Like it's fine to stay with someone for like a little bit or whatever, but like keep like try to be doing like something, like your task or something, but like don't stay with someone like the entire time,
Yeah, don't shadow them, right? Yeah, it's just not fun anymore. And then change your color every game, and this is so that they don't know who's who all the time. Because we all do. We tend to pick our favorites or things like that. So change your color, and then mute while you play. And Pete's going to kind of explain this a little bit more. It's quiet when you're playing or doing your tasks. You don't want to reveal who you are or where you are or who's the imposter. But there's a time when you're voting, and that's when you could talk. So Molly used Zoom. You could do this with Google Meet. It doesn't really matter. And then Pete was saying blue button. It doesn't really matter as long as you have a way for everyone to communicate and talk and hear each other. And don't reveal if you're the imposter. And dead players do not talk. So once you're dead, I think you could still play, right, Rebecca? But you don't.
Yeah, if you're dead and you're like a crewmate or whatever, do your task.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you die, you still could win.
Mhm. So as mentioned before, this is highly interactive. You have people working together as a team. They're all trying to complete the task before the imposter gets them. And it's just a very easy entry point for game. I'm not a true gamer, and I was able to play along. Okay, so Pete, want me to stop sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, and Pete's going to provide you a walkthrough and demo, and then lead you on a real game. So if you've downloaded the app, be ready, because you'll be able to play with Pete.
And in fact, I think I'll do the walkthrough with Rebecca. Yeah. So you're gonna have to fill in the blanks for me. So I'm gonna host a game. So those of you who want to play, you'll join by using a code. So Rebecca should have just used this one.
Yeah.
So the code that you will use when you join will be ITGOBF. Rebecca, if you can join, please.
Wait, what is it?
ITGOBF. Can you see my screen?
The bar like on the bottom is like covering it.
I'll put it in the chat, ITGOBF.
Yep.
Oops, that's only went to one person. Let me go to everyone. ITGOBF. And Pete, do you want anyone else to join? Just for the.
Yeah, everybody can join. We're just gonna walk through kind of how it works and then play a walkthrough kind of thing. And so, and then Rebecca, I think we're just gonna have the discuss just be chat,
Okay.
like not live chat, just type chat.
Wasn't Rebecca the one that was really like hardcore?
Yeah, she
Like,
plays
super
hardcore.
aggro. So we'll miss Rebecca's other side of her personality on that part. Okay, we see people. We have Iscarb, Icky Home, Dry Bat. Those are all people that joined, right? Rainy
Yeah.
Game.
They give us random names.
Yeah. We got 6 out of 15 that have joined.
I'm gonna start, even though because I picked 2, but we could play with 6, right? Because we're just doing a walkthrough anyway, Rebecca.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start. This is just a walkthrough anyway. We're not playing for reals anyway, so we're just gonna show you how the game works before we actually play for reals.
Okay, Pete. So we need after the walkthrough, we have some questions about.
Should I answer them now or?
They just can't connect. So they're saying it says incorrect room, and that it was made for quick chat only. Mine won't. I never play. So Amanda can't get in. She doesn't know how to play. Amanda, just wait. But for the other ones, they're not quite sure why it doesn't work.
Okay.
Did I type in the wrong code? ITG.
No, you didn't.
I think I did type the wrong code. I think I have ITGOVF.
There you go. That's it.
I did type. It was my bad. Sorry. I tend to move letters
Can you
around.
see your screen real quick? Oh, the code shows.
Yeah, and the code's on the screen. What does the comment mean that says I got the made for quick chat comment?
I'm not sure. Rebecca, you know what that means?
No.
Guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. Amanda, what are you on a iPhone or Android?
Yeah, I'm on a smartphone and it says made for quick chat only, but I don't know if I'm putting the code in the right place.
Okay. Let's do the run through.
Yeah, I'll do.
And then
Figure it out then.
we'll try when we do the next game, we'll try to troubleshoot this because yeah, we want to make sure everyone can play.
So if you're the imposter, please don't kill anybody yet. Just reveal yourself in a second, just so we can show people how people die. I'm gonna start it. So I'm a crewmate. So one of these people is the imposter. So one of these people pretends to do activities, do do tasks, which you see right here. If I click on this map, there's these little exclamation points. These exclamation points I would walk to complete those tasks. As I'm completing those tasks, the imposter pretends to complete their own tasks and instead kills you. And then like what happens is, like you report it, you got to go in the middle, right? You can hit the emergency button, or you can just report with this button right here. Okay, so you see if people are already going around. So my task right here, you can see it lights up. I can hit the space bar or whatever. As you go. And then you'll see this little green bar here as tasks get completed. The green bar moves up. So you can see this says that I've completed something. If we complete as crewmates all the tasks, there you go. So if we complete all the tasks, we as the crewmates, we won. But if the imposter kills enough people, that person wins. And so here we have a discussion. So there's a voting that starts. So we would have a discussion up here. You can see the chat here. And you can click right here for preloaded chat. So I can accuse somebody. I say that this person is lying, right? Or I could say like where I was, I was fixing lights. Or what to do, your location. I was at the lower engine, right? Response. That person died, or you're lying. So there's different things that you can say very quickly if you don't type very quickly during this discussion. And then after this discussion, you can see there's a voting process. So we would vote who we think is the imposter. And if enough votes happen, that person gets kicked off. And if it's not the imposter, you just hurt your own team. But if you kick off the imposter, you won. So that's the basic idea behind this. So there's like a communicative aspect of it, which helps the community part of it. So I'm going to click on skip votes. So we'll all skip votes, and I'll show you how a death works. Do we know which person is the killer? Who's the imposter?
No.
And then Amanda has a question.
Okay.
Can other players see what you're doing? In this case, Pete is screen sharing. Oh, who else did that? Okay. But can you explain like
Yeah.
what do the players see?
So normally you would only see your screen when you're playing. So normally like you're pretending to be me as you're playing. So you would only see, you can see this. I can only see around this area. That's lit up, right? So as I move in, now I can see somebody, right? So
If
in the shadows around us, but normally what my screen you would not be able to see, but it's because I'm sharing my screen. You can see what I'm doing.
Rebecca was going to say something. What were you gonna say?
Depending if visuals are on though, you can see other people doing like certain tasks. That's how you can also know if someone's crewmate or not. Like med bay on this one, there's like a leaf one where like you can see like the leaves come out or whatever. Like if visuals are on, sometimes you can see like other people doing tasks.
Do we know who's the killer? Where's the killer?
No.
Is it Quick? Where's the killer?
And then Clarabelle was asking, you can't see who voted for you, right?
I just got killed.
No, you can.
Oh, you can.
You
After
can turn that off though.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
So that's how it is when you die, right?
is Steve the killer or he got killed? Or we're not supposed to know, sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not helping.
So you can see like all these people died, and then you would report who, like, you could report the body dead, and then you would have a discussion, right? So my discussion only goes to other people who have died. So after you die, see that? These people that are still alive, they cannot see what the dead people say. So I can talk to other dead people, right? I can talk to other dead people. Oh, I can only do this.
Dead people can't talk, right?
Right. Oh, so they removed like all chat, Rebecca.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking. I think there's a way you can turn it off, like turn that off or whatever, but like,
Too late to figure it out. It's like a setting probably, right?
yeah, when this game is over, we can change that.
Yeah, it looks like it's really touch friendly for the mobile users.
So then we're waiting for Rainy Game to vote. And then you can see there's a little horn here. That's the person who made the call. And then really quick, murderer, please don't kill anybody because you'll win. But you can see here, I'm a ghost now, but I can complete tasks. So here as a ghost, I can complete the task. I don't know. I think they got Ludlow got real happy and ended the game.
So he killed the last victim. Is
Yes.
that what happened? Okay.
Yeah.
So the imposter, he wins or she wins when they kill everybody, and then the crewmates win. No, how do they win, Rebecca?
Oh no, it's because they're showing the victory. The phone.
The crewmates win by doing all the tasks.
Mhm.
So even as ghosts,
Mhm.
if the ghosts do the tasks as crewmates and we get to the green bar before the imposter kills everybody, the crewmates all win. That's how this game is played. Any questions? Maybe we'll start for real.
Yeah, I think the biggest question that people were asking is like the can't join. And I went on my phone and I wonder if it's because they have to select a private game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, so you have to select private game and enter this code.
And then Clarabelle's asking, there's a setting where you can't see who voted.
Oh.
Or she's asking.
Yeah, there is.
There is, okay.
I don't think I turned that on. I'm just gonna leave it.
Do you want to go just for a few minutes, click on the customize and kind of show?
Well, this customizes myself.
Oh, okay.
What's the code again?
ITGOBF.
So we're using the same code?
I think so.
Yeah, I got in. I'll leave, but I was able to get in. So what I did was I clicked on private on my iPhone app and then used the code and then I got in.
Mr. Nguyen, I think you need to like change it to the quick chat or free chat.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna leave game and then redo it, okay?
Yeah. You have to go to settings,
Where are the settings?
go back. On account, I'm pretty sure.
Here?
Yeah, wait. Yeah, you have to be signed in to change it. So just make like a quick account.
Feels like a lot of work.
There.
Okay. And then what? Oh, I changed it in game, right?
I think it's changed already. I think you're good now.
Okay, so the new code.
Wait, how do
CKWWBF.
change the settings? Everything's different.
Oh, okay. Ms. Rodriguez got in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the nature of game, right? They update. They make changes. Well, we could see the custom settings on the side. You have 2 imposters, confirm ejects is off, emergency meetings are 2, anonymous votes are off. Did you click on general? Or?
Cool.
And then Pete is on, oh, good. So Jennifer, Amanda's in. He is on the desktop version. Of the game. But it's pretty much similar. He's able to use his mouse.
Oh, here we go. Okay, so those of you that are playing, we're gonna play for reals, just so you can have that experience. As we're playing for reals, like you're gonna be seeing my screen because I want everybody else to see. So it would be nice if you don't cheat.
Minimize Zoom and just play. If you could, yeah, I think you could minimize the video, but keep the chat box open.
All right. Anybody else interested? Otherwise, I'm gonna start at 10. Everybody good? Look at the chat. Okay.
Wait, are we gonna unmute or are we gonna use chat, like the chat in the game?
I don't know. I think everybody's able to unmute themselves, right?
Yeah,
So why don't we do that?
yeah, I think that's better.
So we can probably just unmute. So if you're I think everybody's able to unmute, and then we could just play like normal. But I'll be sharing my screen, okay, for those of you that are not playing.
Rebecca, sorry.
Go ahead.
Rebecca, can you share how Amanda's asking how you move around, and on the app there's like can you explain the process?
Is she on mobile or PC?
Let's pretend she's on mobile.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
there's like a circle right here and you just run with that.
Thank you.
All right. I think we're good. If there's any questions, just type in the chat and I'll interrupt Pete.
Yep. All right. Let's see how this goes.
I saw orange vent on cams.
Did anybody see LC Orange?
No, orange was alone. I saw on cams.
Was anybody else with you in cams?
Not that I know of.
Or
No.
I'm gonna vote orange. Orange, who are you? Are you gonna defend yourself?
This is where everybody who's playing could talk.
Yeah, so you can unmute yourself. We're all just talking. And it's probably orange that needs to talk because Rebecca's accusing you. orange.
Is this right here the one you're talking about?
Was that Wendy? Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay.
What did I do?
So if you go through the vents, only the imposter is able to do that.
Good to know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Can the imposter do tasks as well?
No.
Okay. Yeah, when on my thing it told me like fake tasks. Do
Yeah, you
want-
have to like stand next to the task or whatever and pretend you're doing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nothing will pop up that shows that you're. Oh,
So even
Bye,
when
Orange.
you're dead as an imposter, Wendy, you can still sabotage. Am I right, Rebecca?
oh wait. The orange was ejected, but
But she can still play.
okay.
So she can sabotage to help win. So, or it's what.
How do you complete tasks?
Are you on a keyboard?
No, I'm on my phone.
I believe
You have to stand next to, right?
I don't even know where to find them.
whatever's glowing. And then you would touch the tab or touch the thing that's glowing.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got it. Thanks. I know. How do you put if you know who it is?
What's that?
I have a suspect. Whatever.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You have to report the dead body.
So everybody who's dead cannot talk.
Oh, okay.
And everybody who's alive, you will discuss amongst yourselves what you think happened.
Okay.
Diane, where did you come from? What were your steps? Who's Cyan?
Oh, can you explain that? That's a color. I think maybe they don't. So
Yeah.
that's Roz? Is that-
Yes.
yeah, so Roz. So what Rebecca's doing, calling you by name, by color.
Because you were hanging out around Red like a lot, and now Red is dead.
So the person who's playing Roz or the Scion, that color, if
The unicorn.
the unicorn, can you unmute or chat a defense?
I also don't know what I'm doing. Never played before, sorry. I'm just running around.
I think it's Cyan.
Huh? All right.
So that's how the game's played. A lot of times the students, so Rebecca's very good at being aggressive. And when she she's the imposter, she'll self-report, which is how do you explain self-reporting?
When you kill the person or whatever and you report the body automatically.
Right. So normally what happens, I would say normally, but like normally what happens is somebody kills you and then like, I think it was Clarabelle found the body. I don't know who found the body, found my body, but whoever found my body goes, oh my gosh, somebody like died. And then they report it, right? A self-report is if you kill someone as the imposter and then you report it and you're like, oh dude, I totally saw like a Roz do it, right? And you start accusing other people. That's like the fun part of the game is like you start accusing people that didn't do it. And like starting to cast out, but everybody here is super nice, so that's probably not gonna happen. Except, but Rebecca's pretty ruthless. I remember playing with her last time and she was like, I saw you did it, Mr. Ann, I saw you. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. And then like we just start, I'm like, I don't know what are you talking about? So I'm like on the defensive. And then the more I deny it, the more guilty I sounded, and I didn't do it. So Rebecca was the one that did it, but she like went out and accused somebody immediately, and that's kind of how the fun of the game is. And so we just start talking about, and we just laugh afterwards, like, oh man, like we're like, oh, it was you, I can't believe it, or whatever, and like, oh yeah, you're sneaky, or whatever. We just start talking, and that's kind of how the community part of it works. Yeah.
So Jenny has a really funny, her 83-year-old mother-in-law is ruthless with this game. And then Wendy, she said that the game hurts her brain. I think it just takes some practice. I think the first time, I'll be honest, the first time I did it, I was in a really bad mood. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. This game's stupid. And I was like, didn't do it. And then I tried it again with strangers. And I think that made it a little bit easier, and it was just chat. And so I felt like, oh, they don't know me. So if I lose or if I win or if I play the game wrong, it's not a big deal. So I would give it another chance.
And the more times you play, the more you get used to each other, which is part of the community part, building part of it. Like, because in the beginning, like how you guys feel right now is how most of the students feel when they first play it, especially when it's during the pandemic, right, Rebecca? Like, everybody was kind of quiet. They didn't want to say anything. And then as we start getting more comfortable with each other and we get comfortable accusing each other, the student who was supposed to do the presentation, she's super shy, Stephanie. And Rebecca remembers her because we were all playing and she was going to do the other presentation. She's super shy. And then like, as we started getting used to each other, Stephanie started accusing people. So you just start getting used to each other. And that's, like I said, that's part of the community building of this game is that you play more games, and the games can go pretty fast, as you can see. And also, Wendy, to be fair to you, it's much easier to be a crewman than an imposter. So the imposter is a lot more work because you're trying to fake doing stuff. So, and then you're accusing other people, and you know, sometimes you'll play different roles, like you're the peacemaker, right, Rebecca, where you're like, whoa, well, between you guys, I don't know what's going on. Like, let's talk about this. Right. So then as a peacemaker, then you become less suspect. So that's kind of how the game is played.
A lot of strategy. They learn different strategy techniques, right? To sway people. All right, if you want to stop sharing it, and then, but feel free to ask more questions and we'll finish up here. But there's other alternative versions. You can see my screen, right? Okay, yeah. So
and Rebecca could actually explain this because she was the one that first told me.
Yeah, Rebecca, can you explain the hide and sneak version?
Oh, hide and seek is so much fun. Okay, so the rule is like when you're imposter or whatever, you have to announce like, oh, I'm imposter. There's only one imposter, and you have to like run around and try. You can't report any bodies or anything, but you have to try to. It's kind of like tag in a way. Like you have to keep running and trying not to get killed, or whatever, while the imposter tries to find you. It's fun when like you don't want to like start like accusing people or anything. You just want to like have fun.
The imposter doesn't win or lose, right? Because it's the last person who stands that wins.
Yeah. You also, there's two ways you can do it. Some way that some people play is like, oh, just let the imposter like kill everyone and that's the game. Or try and hurry and do your task while like before the imposter like kills everyone or whatever. So that way it's like, oh, the imposter wins or the other people win.
We played this a couple times because it gets a little boring if you play too much. So we played this a couple of times with our students. It's pretty fun.
Okay, and then this can extend into other things, you know, as Pete was explaining, the social emotional learning aspect. You know, we've had people talk about subject matter specific character acting, where they, you know, they take the place of a character. And then there's other games like esports, Minecraft. If you're a fan of Steam, I love the Jack games. And they're really fun. Maybe a bit more for like a high school or older crowd. But I would check those out. There's some that you could have at like 100 people join in. Those are games that I was using with my my mom group just to bond, or just to connect in a different way. Anything else you want to add about that?
Not about that, but the SEL. I want to share the SEL because that's what we mainly do. And so in our program, we do a lot of different types of activities. We had esports, we have art therapy, we have, Rebecca, you remember all the activities you did for our program? I know that was graduation ago, so. The
Wait,
one,
all the what?
like all the activities our program did, like Girl Code.
Mhm.
You remember them? What else did you do?
We had guy code, girl code, the photography thing Donald did. Alexis did art therapy. What else?
You guys did field trips too,
And
right?
we did
Field
field trips.
trips.
Like beach cleanup? Did you guys do
Yeah,
that?
we did beach cleanup stuff. We would drive. We had a thing called Adventure Club. Did I take you to Adventure Club, Rebecca?
No.
My bad. So we had a thing called Adventure Club where the more introverted students would be a part of that, and we would go to like IKEA and talk about like if you were to move out on your own, like what furniture would you pick or how would you do that? So I talk about this because our program, the way we do SEL, the main way we do it is through group therapy, and so we like to talk with each other. A lot of people are surprised at this, but I'm super introverted, and my wife is a bit more extroverted, and so that's how that happened. But so even like the introverts and extroverts can be with each other. We talk and we share, and so you can kind of see like when we play this game, as we continue, if we were to continue playing the game, you can't just keep playing the game. We end up start talking with each other, right? And we talk about our problems and how to deal with them and things we're going through, and so that's our main approach through SEL.
Amanda asks, have you had any issues with the concept of killing each other and lying? Granted that you're working with a high school population. I don't know, Leticia, I'm going to pick on you. What do you think for like elementary? Has that ever come up with the issue?
We talked about, because I did this with 5th grade. We talked about it, about like that whole thing, but we had discussions and how the game is set up. But
you kind of did a prep, right? You kind of set it up to prevent the calls from parents. Do a little like warning, just set it up. It's all in fun. And it's cartoon killing too. It's not.
Our kids play it too, and they're like 11. Our twins are 11, and we have an 8-year-old. So, I don't think it's anything they haven't seen, to be honest.
But yeah, I mean that can be a concern. I hope it doesn't come up as a concern, but I think there's a way to prepare everybody.
I would have to say though, like, so there's situations that may occur where like people get into arguments, right? Because like that's the game, right? And so part of being a teacher while playing is helping to discuss how that socialization works, right? Oh, okay, so you're upset about this. So ways to address that are this. So that's part of the SEL. The social emotional learning, the socialization learning specifically is like when you're in disagreement with something and you start getting heated, how do you talk to other people? So that's a learning moment for that.
And argument, like I wish I was better at arguing. I mean, rhetoric is a skill. So it's something that they can develop. proving your point, arguing your case. It's not necessarily teaching them
And
to
defending
fight
yourself,
and,
yeah.
and defending yourself. I mean, they're good skills to have. I know we're close to, we're at, I think, out of time, but on the bit.ly, here's the slideshow, but this is the links to access the game. Here's some references and resources. And the last time we presented this, we had teachers share some lessons from other teachers. So I wanted to post this here. It's, Among Us Google Slides template. The rundown is your argument sus and argumentative speeches. So those links are there for you at the bit.ly. But thank you so much. We'll hang out for a second or two. Yeah, and Clarabelle, yeah, don't take things too personally, right? Yeah. And so, but yeah, we'll hang out for like a minute or two if you have any questions, but I know there's it's lunch, right? So I get it. But thank you so much. And Rebecca, thank you so much for sharing with us. Appreciate it.